Hi everyone, I'm
Hi.
Florian, responsible of BQool International Development. I have a guest with me today. He's an Amazon seller, obviously, doing pretty well with his business. His name is Dan. Welcome, Dan, and thank you for taking the time talking to me.
No problem. Thank you, brother.
It's a pleasure to chat with you. I called you because we love learning more about our users' journey. And being an Amazon seller it's a dream for many people. It usually means more freedom and more opportunities, and for some, a huge increase in their income.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's quite complex. The road is full of pitfalls and challenges. So
Yeah.
what we can do is I'm just gonna ask a couple of questions about you
Sure.
and
Sure.
yourself, and then about the business on Amazon and how do you deal with that.
Yeah.
So maybe we can start, and you could briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started selling about 2 years ago. I think unlike, a lot of people gravitate to Amazon. Maybe they have a 9 to 5 job, and they're tired of their boss or something like that, or they need some extra income. I had been used to being self-employed, most of my adult life, but I was in a service business. So I was really new to selling. I hadn't really done much of that before. It's just been a slow process of building inventory, learning all the mistakes, and I made every mistake you can imagine.
That's
And
pretty much what everyone say, actually.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we all make mistakes. It's okay. I feel like I've gotten to the point now where I at least know my limitations. Everyone, when you start out, you know everything, right? And then you
That's
find out that
right.
you don't.
That's right.
Um,
Okay. So
yeah.
the reason why you start selling on Amazon was because mainly you wanted to try something new, because
I wanted to try
you
something.
were
Yeah, I
you were
wanted to try something
self-employed
new.
already. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to try something new, and I was tired of the politics and all this. And I really liked the fact that I was completely in control. I was going to be the boss, and I could
Yes.
control my own hours. Sometimes I work really strange hours. I like working at night, for example, and I wasn't always able to do that. Now, nobody's telling me when to work. I don't have
Yeah.
clients. I don't have clients yelling at me. I don't have my ego bruised by, some
So
comment that I don't like,
yeah, you
So
are selling FBA, right? So you don't
I'm
have
selling
to.
FBA. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I specifically, there's really two schools of thought about selling on Amazon. One is fulfilled by merchant. The other is fulfilled by Amazon.
That's right.
And then there's also different schools of thought about how you want to acquire books, whether you're going to do online arbitrage or 3D sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't want to be carting books around, and having to go to the post office all the time and this kind of stuff. I mean, some people really enjoy that. They're very, if you're a very physical person, you you might enjoy handling the books and shipping the books and all that kind of stuff, finding the books. I really enjoy being a laptop jockey, like just, finding the deals online, being able to
Yeah.
sit, out in back patio and run the business that way. That was
All right.
appealing
All
to
right.
me.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. So, if I may, what was it hard to start selling on Amazon? You said you check a lot of videos, you spend hours and hours checking about how to sell on Amazon and the strategies to sell on Amazon. Was it hard to start?
It was, I mean, maybe the hardest part was getting Amazon to, sign off on all the documents, and you have
Oh,
to,
yeah. Okay.
you have to make sure everything is absolutely perfect. All the bank accounts have to match. Your name has to be exactly this way. Your address has to be exactly this way. And it took me a couple of times to get them to approve me.
Yes. So
Once I
now,
got approved,
mhm.
I didn't struggle. I felt like I had done all this research, but on the other hand, there are a lot of mistakes that I made. So I wasn't feeling unconfident, but my confidence was ill placed because I bought some really terrible books, the first couple of months because I didn't even look. I wasn't really paying attention to keep. There were all these
Yes.
mistakes I
Mm.
made.
Okay, so maybe you can share with our viewers your budget to start, to give them an idea on the
Yeah.
budget they need to start.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to, it wasn't like a specific amount because it kind of, I did it over time as I got little bits of money. I'd buy more
Okay.
books. I don't know. I think I probably
So you didn't have a budget dedicated only for the
no,
Amazon
no.
stuff.
I think to sort of get off the runway, it was maybe $2,000 or $3,000.
All
But
right. Okay.
I mean, a lot of people start by going around to thrift book stores and things. I mean, I know people that started with nothing, and that's
Yes.
one way to do it. Like I
Mm,
said, I really did wanted to avoid that, but that's another way you can do it. I had a little bit of money, not
I
not
see. I
not
see.
too
So
much.
it means you can start without
Yeah,
having like tons of money. Some
right.
people might think this way. Okay. And so how many hours do you put in your business every
Really.
week, I would say?
So, this is a really important question because I'll tell you, it's changed dramatically in the last 3 months or so since I've been using BQool.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great to hear.
I've always felt that, and the wisdom is you've got to reprice every day. When you're
Mhm.
manually repricing, which I did for almost 2 years, you have to reprice every day. And even then, during textbook season, I was doing it twice a day.
Twice a
And
day. Okay.
I mean, I was spending 3 or 4 hours a day repricing my books. And
That's a lot of time.
yeah, and as I built my inventory, I mean, it wasn't that much in the beginning. I had, 50 books or whatever, but I got to
Yes.
the point where, when I got past about 500 books, I was getting really frustrated because I would go through every book on the managed pricing page, right?
All right.
And and it turned out, a lot of them were exactly the same as they were yesterday, exactly the same as they were, last week, but you still had to check it, and I thought, this is crazy. It is such a waste of time. There's got to be a better way. So the first thing I did was I created a notebook and I
Okay.
wrote down, I got so geeky, I wrote down every listing in a notebook.
Okay.
And then I had these symbols like, okay, this one has a lot of competition and this one's changing. This one's been static, and then I
Jesus,
thought,
means you must
so,
have spent a lot of time.
oh, and so it took a lot of time initially, but then I was able to look at it and go, okay, I only have to check this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So I
Okay.
was able to cut it in half, but it was still driving me crazy, I always had heard these stories about repricers being terrible and messing up your prices. So I was scared of it. And then Seth really was the person that got me into it.
Hmm.
He said, no,
You're talking about Seth Baker, right?
yeah, Seth Banker, yeah.
Hmm.
And so I decided to look into it. And when I looked at it, I thought, okay, I think I can make this work. And then I got really geeky and I made about 20 different rules. And
So custom rules, right?
made a lot of custom rules. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of custom rules, and now there's the AI. So I'm sort of in this process of evaluating, how that works relative to my custom rules and all that.
That's
So I'm
really
in the
great.
process of kind of migrating more of my books to the AI.
That's really great to hear. So you
Yeah,
said at the beginning you repriced manually, and
yeah,
then you decided to use an Amazon repricer. But you also said that you were afraid, maybe. I mean, you learn and read a lot of things, a lot of bad things about the repricer.
yes.
Maybe you can share a little bit about this. What did you hear, and is it real or not? I guess not, but maybe you can tell to our viewers who are
Well, I
not
think I
afraid to use a
heard a
repricer.
lot of some of the competing products. I just don't think they have the detail available in the repricing rules to deal with a lot of situations.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, everyone has to deal with this limitation in the Amazon API where they only give you the bottom 20 prices,
Yes.
but there are ways to deal with that. There are ways to deal with that. That was one thing that scared me a little bit because sometimes, FBA prices are, I mean, maybe 5% of the time, but they're sitting above that, So you
Yes.
have to have strategies in place to use repricers effectively when you have situations like that.
Okay.
But most of the time, it's way more effective because you've got mega sellers repricing every 5 minutes. You're not going to compete with that. You reprice once a day, you're toast. I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
so, and I was finding this, this was happening to me, and I realized, there's so many reasons why that it's a mythology, that repricers can't be good, because first of all, one big thing that repricers do is they take the emotions out of your pricing decisions. People are
Exactly.
emotional creatures. One of the biggest mistakes that I made the first year of this business is I kept this thing in my head that I have to make money on every single book.
Right.
Big mistake, big
Hmm.
mistake. Every retailer that's been in business for a while knows you're going to lose money on a certain amount of your inventory.
That's right. Now, I was saying like what you said is exactly like investing in stocks, right? You
Yes,
cannot do
exactly.
that with emotion.
Right.
Otherwise, this is the perfect way to fail. So this is why repricer are very useful because, like you said, as soon as you can let the repricer do the job, since I mean, same for our AI, the
Yeah.
repressor will do the job for you, analyze your competitive environment, and do the right decision at the right time. This is, I think, one of the biggest value of a repressor. So it's exactly what you just said. I think this is very important to make people understand. A repressor can be only useful to your repressor and to your business only if you know how to use it as well. And you have to get the right tool. So you're using BQool now for a couple of months, right? How is it
Since March.
overall?
Yeah.
March,
So,
okay.
so that to speak to the point I was making earlier. So what happened to me was, because I had this wrong thinking in my head about profiting on every single book, I had a lot of inventory that I knew in the back of my head I had to just let go. And it was so hard, I mean, I really struggled with it.
Oh yeah.
And so what happened was, when I got BQool, there's something shifted, because it forced me to be realistic. Look at the Kiva graph. Look at what the market really is now
Mm,
for this book, and set the minimum for less than I bought it for, because that's what I had to do. And then
yes.
it felt like almost a weight lifted off of me. And the first couple of days, I sold just an astronomical number of books. They flew out the door. I had this huge spike. It was just amazing. And it was very freeing to get rid of all this dead inventory that I had
Mhm.
struggled to let go of, because I was, right. We're human beings, we don't,
That's,
oh no, I don't want to
that's
let, I
right.
paid this much,
That's right.
the
That's right.
market doesn't care. So even though it was a little hard to set these low minimum prices, it was a lot easier than sitting there day in, day out, having to just drop the price, incrementally. I could just set it and let it go.
That's
Um,
okay.
so that really, I mean, it was one of the first things that I realized about what I found, and especially with the AI, is that, because when you're in a situation like that, those are books that might sell only once every few months.
Hmm.
You absolutely must be the next sale. If you're going to absolutely be the next sale, you can't reprice manually, because someone can snipe at the last minute. And, you know, that's the other thing, is that BQool has given me the confidence to expand my inventory to books that I would not have bought before. And it's been very effective. I have sold a number of books that were not as well ranked as I would have normally allowed myself to buy. It's worked out fine, because I feel safety, because BQool is minding the pricing for me. I know that I'm always going to be the lowest seller, at least every 5 minutes.
That's really great
So
to hear.
yeah.
And so, which rule are you using? You said before you use custom rules, and right now, are you also using the AI rule?
I'm using AI in some situations. I'm using the AI more and more. I'm still getting a feel for what it does, because it doesn't always make the same kinds of decisions that I would make.
Okay.
Uh, and I think that's because I have to be careful, because I think it's probably smarter than I am. So yeah, so I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, the AI is really, really trying to get the buy box. I mean,
Mm.
To me, the buy box is about 75% or something of what your goal should be. I mean, it's really a big thing.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
And so you said you start using BQool in March. How was it at the beginning? Because we are trying to make the tool as easy as possible to use. And since we got the I have to explain for our viewers that thanks to the AI, you don't have to do anything. The repricer can be ready to work within 5 minutes. You just have to download the software, connect to the Seller Central, use the AI rule, and you will start to reprice. So you
Yes.
don't have to go to much detailed custom rules and everything.
Yeah.
So how was it for you? Maybe when you start using the AI, did you feel that it was very easy to use?
The AI basically eliminates almost every decision you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
The manual rules, I did spend quite a lot of time going through every little thing, and
Yeah, I
seeing, okay,
understand.
well, how do I want to set this? How do I want to set this?
Uh-huh.
And that's why I end up setting up so many of them. And it's really geeky, and I love that. Okay, that's great, but it's not for everyone, Whereas you can go to the AI and there's almost nothing to set. It just does all the work for you.
That's right.
Uh,
And I check your account. Maybe I mean you can confirm that
yeah.
since pretty much 2 to 3 months since you start using BQool and the AI, your sales kind of double, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's been absolutely amazing. I was flabbergasted. I expected it to be better, but I didn't expect. I was really just thrilled with how much better, and it makes a lot of sense. It is some work to determine what your minimums and your starting price is going to be.
Yes.
There's some work. This takes a little more time than just going to the pricing page and looking really quickly and then adjusting your price. No, you have to go and look. I looked at the Keepa graphs. I really try to sense what the market is and what I can
Mm-hmm.
expect. If it's a textbook, is it going to go up in price in August? Or those kinds of things that go into those decisions. But once
Yes.
I've set them, it's done, and like I said, I go through maybe once a month and make sure that, I wasn't smoking something wrong, but,
That's
but,
that's that's amazing to hear. BQool is on the business for about 10 years now, and we
yeah,
spend a lot of time to develop this AI,
yeah,
and we receive a lot of great feedbacks since it's
yeah,
on like a couple of months ago.
yeah,
So thanks for all your feedbacks, and we're gonna keep improving this software, and hopefully we keep helping thousands and thousands of sellers as it does now.
yeah.
And so maybe to conclude this call, I can ask you a couple of questions that I like to ask sellers.
Okay.
I think you can help others. That's the point. So
Yeah.
if you could give yourself 3 tips from when you started, what would they be?
Well, the first one is look at your books as a whole organism, not as individual books,
Okay.
and don't get caught up in don't get caught up in that you have to make money on every book. Yeah,
Mm.
that's really important. You have to. The market doesn't care what you paid for your book. Okay, the market is the market. Um, that so you have to be. You want to be realistic. You want to strike a balance between being ambitious with your prices and being realistic with your prices. Okay, so that's one, and that took me a long time. And frankly, Be Cool, like I said, was part of healing from that mistake. I have to say, I give it a lot of credit for that.
Mm.
Um, Learn Keepa because,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, you can't. You really have to understand how these trends
Mm.
go.
That's right.
I think it's better to be a fast nickel seller than a slow dime seller. I've learned,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I understand.
and there's
And
something about velocity, that's really important to keep the wheel spinning,
mm-hmm.
keep the thing. And this is just a really big part of it. You want to remove emotion from your decisions as much as possible. So to the extent that you can do that and be more objective about your inventory, the better. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another one.
Okay.
Um, yeah, don't keep a notebook.
That's
That's
that's a good one. That's a good
No,
one.
no, I'll tell you, I do think that people should spend some time, especially when they're beginning, repricing manually, because you'll
Okay.
get an appreciation
To
for what,
understand, right? The
yeah,
process
you really
and
want,
the
you
logic.
want to learn it, and you'll gain an appreciation for what BQool can
Mm.
do for you, I mean, when you first start out, you want to keep your expenses low,
Yes.
but you get to a certain inventory, I don't know what it is, 300, 500, whatever. It just becomes more difficult to reprice manually. And if you can get a few months of experience doing that, then you'll understand. It'll also, and you'll know how to interface with BQool in the
Yes.
best way.
Okay,
So
that sounds great. All right, so thanks, Dan. Thanks for your time and thanks for chatting with me. It was very nice to hear from you. So maybe the last question is, what's your next goal with Amazon? What do you expect to reach? Do you have some targets?
yeah, I mean, I'd like to get to 2,000 in inventory, because I think that's the point where I can really say, okay,
So
I'm
right now
making
your inventory it's around
around
700.
700,
Okay.
although, Amazon, I mean, Amazon's taking their time to do receiving now. I mean, I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think that one of the reasons for the inventory limits is, they're just short staffed, and they're short on real estate and people.
Hmm.
But yeah, around 700 now, and I'd like to get to 2 or 3,000.
Okay. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, because I think you proved that it's possible to be successful on Amazon,
Yeah.
uh, and you just have to be well informed and to learn from other more experienced seller, like
Oh,
Seth Baker, for
absolutely.
example. Maybe you don't have to keep a notebook like you did with spending 4 hours a day, but I understand your point. Maybe a little bit at the beginning, try to reprice manually to understand the logic of the repricer. Then
Yes.
maybe the work on the repricer would be more effective.
Yes.
And also, of course, you have to use the right tool. And this is why I think we all think that BQool would do the job perfectly fine. All right. So for the viewers, I dropped the link in the description to benefit for 14 days free trial if you want to test
Yeah.
our software. And you can also share these videos. Anyone who share the video on some Facebook group and can send prove that to us and contact us. For that, I can even extend maybe 2 weeks the free trial, so you can get like 1 month's total free trial for BQool. So thanks, Dan. Again, do you have any last word to say?
No, I think we covered it. I mean,
Perfect.
I just am very grateful for you guys, because you've saved me so much time. I mean, now I can spend the time sourcing or doing something else that I need to do, instead of the redundancy of having to price every day like that. It's good to do it for a little while, but let's leave it to a very smart machine after that. That's my.
Awesome, awesome. So everyone just visit our website, bqool.com, and comments the video down below. Thanks a lot. See you.
Thank you. Bye bye.